Regular season awards for the 2025-2026 season, starting off with the Broadcaster of the Year. This was unanimously voted on upon the committee. Not even close. It's Mike Tirico. He blows everybody else out of the water. He is the best in the game right now. He is the poster boy for NFL play-by-play commentator. Some other nominees, Joe Buck, Chris Collinsworth. I think it's a little bit of slack, but as far as color guys go, or a little bit too much flack, excuse me. But as far as color commentators go, I think Chris Collinsworth does a good job. I love that he appreciates and he acknowledges how much of a Patrick Mahomes glazer. And maybe as a Patrick Mahomes glazer myself, that's why I'm not too hard on Collinsworth, at least as much as I used to be. And then Ian Eagle's son. Don't remember his name, but I remember he did one game. I don't remember what game it was. I don't remember where it was. I think it was the Peacock game or something. And I thought he did a solid job of enough of a solid job for me to throw him down here as a nominee. But obviously, Mike Tirico runs away with it. That guy is the gold standard. Should never sit in the booth again. We have a few nominees here. Rich Eisen, that guy sucks. Love him. I loved him on TV. I loved him on SportsCenter. I loved him on NFL Network. I'll even tune into the Rich Eisen show from time to time. Never allowed to be play-by-play. Dan Orlovsky, I can't stand that guy. Louis Riddick, clown. Louis Riddick has tried to bully his way into being an NFL GM. That'll never fucking happen. Tony Romo started off good. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. Al Michaels, too. Al Michaels was good when he was with Chris. Now him and Tony Romo seem like they jerk each other off in the booth all the time. And I can't do that. Here we go, Jen. But he does it now. Like he imitates the meme. It's like, buddy, shut the fuck up. You guys suck. Get these guys out. Shout out Tom Brady, and what is it, Kenny Albert, the guy that does it with Brady. I think they're pretty good as well. And Brady's gotten so much better from when he first started. And he also said the N-word on a broadcast this year, and just nobody cares about it, but whatever. Breakout Player of the Year, the nominees. Tui Pelotu of the Los Angeles Chargers. Jaguars safety, Antonio Johnson. Patriots quarterback Drake May. And then Seahawks receiver, JSN Jackson Smith in Jigba, and the winner for the 2024-2025 Fire Sports Takes Breakout Player of the Year. It's Jackson Smith and Jigba. Always was, always will be. That guy burst onto the scene this year. What is he, second in the NFL in receiving yards? I probably should know the statistic if I have him here. But he was unbelievable. Let's talk about some of these other nominees for now. Tui Pelotu, 13 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 3 pass breakups. That guy is a stud in his third year. I think there's a lot of 10-plus sack seasons in that guy's future. Jaguars safety, Antonio Johnson, is a guy that is not getting talked about enough. PFF is very garbage. They're very, their rankings are all over the place, but he is the highest rated safety via PFF. He has a 55 passer rating allowed when targeted. He has 5 interceptions. The guy doesn't miss tackles. He's been a stud for this Jacksonville defense that is among one of the best in the NFL. And then Drake May was pretty good this year, and he broke out. He was pretty good. I mean, he played mailmen and plumbers, but he was pretty good against the mailman and plumbers. He said he deserves a nomination here for sure. So shout out Drake May. But Jackson Smith and Jigba, man, did he have 1,000 yards 2 years ago? Like, I remember 2 years ago, he would have breakout games, but it wasn't consistent basis. It wasn't on a consistent basis. Like, I'm pretty sure he had one 3 touchdown game or something crazy. I'm pretty sure he had 1,000 a year ago. Yeah, he had 1,100 a year ago. He had 1,800 this year, led the NFL. He was 4th in the NFL in receptions. He averaged 15 yards a catch, had 10 touchdowns. JSN, Breakout Player of the Year, easily top 5 wide receiver in the league. Garrett Wilson tried to tell everybody in an interview. I think it was on Debo's podcast or something. No, it was I forget who it was. It was with oh my gosh, it was with Kirk Herbstreit. It was like, you have such a loaded room, Garrett. Who do you think the best is? And Garrett Wilson goes, I ain't even gonna hold you. I always thought Jackson was the coldest. I'm not gonna hold you. I ain't even gonna fake it. I think Jackson was the coldest. That's how Garrett Wilson talks, by the way. Absolute goat, absolute musician. You better believe we'll hear his name again today on this edition of the Fire Sports Takes 2025-2026 Fire Sports Takes regular season NFL awards. But yeah, shout out Jackson Smith and Jigba. Best PR team. The nominees: Will Campbell for the best PR team. Jason Tatum. Not an NFL, but that guy sucks and he needs to be on here, especially with what Jaylen Brown is doing over there in Boston right now. They're the second best team in the Eastern Conference. Jaylen Brown's usage is up the same as Jason Tatum's, and suddenly he's averaging more points. He's spreading the ball around better. He's a better passer. The only reason people think Tatum's a better defender than Jaylen Brown is because of his PR team. If Jason Tatum was in Phoenix, no one would ever talk about him like a top 5 player, but he's in Boston. He has a God squad around him because clearly without him, they're just as good as they are with him. Jason Tatum's PR team, incredible. Will Campbell, 5 sacks, 26 pressures, 7 penalties in like 10 games, 12 games. Short arms, injury prone, bust. TJ Watt, $30 million a year. TJ Watt's getting 7 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. But the guy with the best PR team in NFL history, none other than Drake May. Drake, the schedule May. Drake, 0 first downs in the fourth quarter against the Buffalo Bills, down by a possession, got the ball 2 times May. Drake, his wife is, I'm not going to say that. That's too far. Let's keep family out of it. Drake, Boston fans are racist, prejudice assholes May. Drake, yes, I'm very upset that the Patriots are good again May. Best PR team in football. People saying he's better than Jaden Daniels already. I laugh in their face. We'll see what he does in the playoffs. That could age horribly. If Drake May goes off in the playoffs, then his PR team was probably correct, but he definitely deserves to be on here. You guys probably noticed a trend. A lot of Boston sports on here. A lot of Boston sports. And we're gonna hear more from Mr. Campbell and Drake May as this episode rolls on here, ladies and gentlemen. Biggest carry job. Which NFL player carried his team the most this season? The nominees: Josh Allen, a.k.a. Haley Steinfeld's side piece. We all know, everybody knows that she likes Michael B. Jordan better. Fact or fiction? Haley Steinfeld once in her life said this to Michael B. Jordan: "You fucked me so hard." Fact or fiction that she said that to Michael B. Jordan? Listen, I'm just doing reporting here. I'm not doing anything. I'm not trying to be inappropriate. That is just that is a factual thing that she said. That is a factual thing that she said to Michael B. Jordan. That's Josh Allen's wife, ladies and gentlemen. Context is irrelevant. Don't ask about it. But Josh Allen, biggest carry job nomination. Christian McCaffrey, nominated for the biggest carry job. Led the 49ers in rushing, led the 49ers in receiving. He was this offense, genuinely. Christian McCaffrey, not getting talked about enough how dominant and how disgusting he was this season. We'll see him again later in this episode as well. And Aiden Hutchinson, where would this Lions defense be without Aiden Hutchinson? I genuinely think it'd be one of the worst in the NFL. He has been a problem. Another double-digit sack season. Shout out Al-Quadin Muhammad as well on that Lions offensive line. He's very unappreciated, underrated. But the biggest carry job out of any player in the NFL this season, it belongs to Justin Herbert, ladies and gentlemen, of the Los Angeles Chargers. Not only did Justin Herbert do more with less than Drake May, but Justin Herbert's girlfriend is so much hotter than Drake May's girlfriend. It's not even close. And that's the stuff that really matters. But some of the other stuff that also matters is Justin Herbert didn't have an 800-yard receiver. Justin Herbert didn't have a 700-yard rusher. Drake May had both of those. Justin Herbert played 6 teams that are currently in the playoffs. Drake May played 2 of them. This isn't a Justin Herbert versus Drake May debate. This isn't a Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert carried, though. He absolutely carried. The Chargers defense is very good, but Justin Herbert, no tackles. No 800-yard receiver. No 700-yard rusher. No offensive tackles. 6 playoff teams on the schedule. Played Patrick Mahomes twice. Played the Colts when they were at the peak of their powers with Daniel Jones healthy. Still 11 wins in the playoffs again with the chance to beat Drake May in Foxborough on Sunday. Biggest carry job. Shout out Justin Herbert for being an absolute beast. Fantasy MVP. Now, keep in mind that I didn't just choose the best fantasy player. ADP was, in fact, incorporated into this. The nominees: Christian McCaffrey. Stud, going in the late first round, the number 1 fantasy option this year. RB1, I think he scored the most fantasy points as well. He needs to be in here. Drake May, the ADP is an irrefutable top 10 fantasy scorer. Got him in the 10th or 11th round. That's huge. But it's just quarterback positional value in fantasy isn't that high. Trey McBride, 18 points per game from the tight end position. He was going at the 2-3 turn. In some leagues I was in, he was going in the mid to late 3rd round. That's huge. But there was a guy going after Trey McBride that needs to be on this list. Second time he's winning an award today. Jackson Smith-Njigba, the fantasy MVP, late third round pick, finished as the wide receiver one, only scored less than 13 points a singular time, consistent 20-point floor with 40-point per game upside. Most of the teams that I was in leagues with had Jackson Smith-Njigba, and I made it to the semifinals in a few leagues, and I lost to Jackson Smith-Njigba in a couple of them. He was absolutely a fantasy MVP. Getting the wide receiver one in the late third round, and then if you went RB heavy, and if you land on, and you hit on your first two picks, with very, very, very likely, like if you went, like if you could have, there's a world where you took Bijan 103, and then you go at the end of round two, beginning of round three, that if you went like Bijan, Achan, JSN, or something like that. You get what I'm saying? But if you get the wide receiver one in the late third round, you're making out like a bandit. At his ADP, he was the fantasy MVP. If there was like an EPA based off of draft position of a player, JSN had to be the highest. If you get what I'm trying to say here, the valuation of him because of where he was drafted and how he performed, fantasy MVP, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Puka Nacua was up here, but he was a first rounder in most leagues that we were in. CMC first rounder in most leagues. Bijan was the top 3 pick. So yeah. Biggest career revival. The nominees. Malik Willis. He's going to get $50 million a year because he threw a couple of deep balls and scrambled a little bit for the Eagles. Not the Eagles. Oh boy. The brain's mush here. For the Packers against Baltimore. Dropped some dots in that game, and he's had a pretty good record as a starter over the past few seasons in Green Bay. George Pickens traded for a third-round pick, then finished third in the NFL in receiving yards. He's going to get a bag this season as well. Aaron Rodgers, best touchdown-interception ratio, best passer rating, and a playoff berth for the first time since 2021. Like, best touchdown-interception ratio since 21, best passer rating since 21, first playoff berth. But the biggest career revival got to be Kevin Byard of the Chicago Bears. He led the NFL interceptions his second year in the league. That was back in 2017. Here we are 9 years later. Kevin Byard leads the league in interceptions again. Shout out Kevin Byard, certified ball hawk. Kevin Byard going to be an all-pro again for the third time in his career. Career revival, Kevin Byard. Congratulations. Best Aura Farmer, ladies and gentlemen. The nominees. Cam Little needs to be on this list. That guy just drills 60-yarders for the fuck of it, okay? So Cam Little, nominee. Will Campbell, nomination for the best Aura Farmer. This guy raised his draft stock despite being shorter arms, and lighter than the likes of Josh Simmons, Armand Membu, Kelvin Banks, and Josh Connolly. His quarterback was also Jaden Daniels when he was in college, so obviously he wasn't going to allow a lot of sacks. That guy's impossible to sack. He raised his draft stock to the 4th overall pick, despite being less athletic and not as physically imposing as those other guys I just named, because he went on a press conference and said this, and I quote, "A defensive end gets a sack a game. He's going to be a top 5 pick. I allow a sack a game. I'm going to be working at Amazon, but that's all right. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But that's just the standard here. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to be working at Amazon. Defensive end gets a sack a game. He's a top 5 pick." Will Campbell, not even a top 5 rookie offensive lineman. He would be a runaway favorite for the best Aura Farmer in a normal year, but this was no normal year. And then Jade Walker, the Bears receiver, because he caught that touchdown against the Packers and then did the coolest. It's the celebration that when you see it on TikTok, it's like the slip back, get back, like that sound. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. So he's on there for that. But the runaway favorite for best Aura Farmer of the 2026 or 2020, the runaway favorite for the best Aura Farmer of the 2025-2026 NFL regular season is Shedeur Sanders. I mean, this is just the coolest celebration for a horrible athlete. The Shedeur Sanders is garbage at football. He is a bad quarterback. That guy Aura farmed his way into being talked about like he's going to be going second in the NFL draft. Then he was the 5th overall pick, and or 5th round pick. Then he's farmed his way into having an army of low IQ, dumbass football fans that think that this guy Shedeur Sanders could be a legitimate franchise quarterback, blaming everybody except Shedeur for the problems that Cleveland had. That guy stunk. He stinks. He's bad. But what an Aura farmer that guy is. I mean, come on. That guy had a song. He's a song. I'ma bust down my AP. Perfect timing. It's kind of fire too, though. I can't even lie. He's a good ore farmer. You got to tip your hat. And as a potential ore farmer myself, you should see some of the first down celebrations I hit when I'm in the shower. Like I recognizes game there as one of the premier ore farmers on the internet. Shedeur Sanders. I mean, he put on a clinic in ore farming this season. Shout out Shedeur. The award for the greatest season, for a great season, but on a bad team, so nobody will talk about them. The nominees: Trey McBride, top 6 in receiving touchdowns, receiving first downs, 2nd in the NFL in receptions. He was a stud. Laramie Tunsil of the Washington Commanders only allowed 2 sacks and 2 QB hits all season. What a bounce back year for the kid. Tristan Wirfs allowed more sacks, QB hits, and pressures on less snaps than Laramie Tunsil. Penei Sewell, who was the highest graded tackle per PFF, allowed more sacks and pressures than Laramie Tunsil as well. He had a fantastic season, but is on a garbage football team, or was a bad football team this year. Let's give our respect to Mr. Tunsil. And then Jeffrey Simmons led all of defensive tackles in sacks. That guy's a stud, one of the best interior defensive linemen in the NFL. But again, he's on the Tennessee Titans. But the winner is Brian Burns of the New York Giants, 2nd in the NFL in sacks, 3rd in tackles for loss, number 1 in pass breakups amongst edge rushers, 2nd in the NFL in forced fumbles, should be a first-team All-Pro, cemented himself as a top 5 edge in football. It's just the Giants sucked major dick. The next award, Best Players against teams below 500. The nominees: Christian Gonzalez, Stephon Diggs, Robert Spillane, Travion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson, Kayshon Boutte, Milton Williams, Carlton Davis, Marcus Jones. But the winner for the best player against teams below 500 in the NFL this season, none other than Drake. 0 first downs in the 4th quarter against Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen in a 1-possession game and a chance to go and cement the MVP. May. Congratulations, Drake. 2nd time winning an award here tonight. Big day for Drake May, big day for JSN. Just to recap, the 2 awards JSN won: Breakout Player of the Year, Fantasy MVP. The 2 awards that, and remember, Drake May was nominated for both of those as well. The 2 awards Drake May won: the best PR team and the best player against teams below 500. Congratulations, Drake May. I know you worked kind of hard. You didn't have to work that hard because you played plumbers and mailmen all year, but still, I know you worked really hard. Congratulations, Drake May. Now for the real awards that the NFL also gives out. The most valuable player in the league this season was Patrick Mahomes. Go look at that Chiefs team without him. The best offensive player in the league of the year this season was Matthew Stafford. Easily lead the NFL in touchdowns, led the best offense in the NFL. It's not even close. Matthew Stafford, Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. Run away with the award. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Armand Membu of the New York Jets. Absolute stud. The guy is taller and stronger and bigger than Will Campbell. He ran a 4.8 in the 40, 4.89. And the Patriots like, you know what? Will Campbell had that cool quote in that press conference one time. We're going to take him 4th overall, even though he has T-Rex stubby arms. Jaden Daniels was his quarterback. That's why he didn't allow any sacks. Comeback Player of the Year, didn't think about it. Coach of the Year is Liam Cohen, easily.